Cymatics is in a very curious state right now. Now, they got famous and changed the game for producers by giving away a lot of free producer goods and selling high-quality sample packs, during a time where there really wasn't a market for that. Then they announced some huge news with the very first Cymatics plugin, Diablo. And it was a huge hit. In fact, the two most popular videos on this channel are around Cymatics Diablo. They then went on to release a multitude of different effects plugins to varying success, but I think it was still overwhelmingly positive in the end. Then something weird happened. They then released two different synthesizers, Aurora and Keys. These didn't really feel the same. These felt off in a way. From questionable release strategies, clunky and unintuitive designs for the plugins, to very complex and confusing installation processes, to a company like Cymatics who is so polished on everything that they do, it's very hard to find a mistake in there. Everything just felt very cheap. And apparently I was not the only one to think so. With the overwhelmingly negative response there, both Aurora and Keys have been completely taken off of their website completely. And I actually used to work with Cymatics. I was on their plugin list where they were sending their products for free so I can do reviews for them, so I'm very familiar with Cymatics products. And everything here, the best way I can put it, just feels off for these two VSTs. So I thought this video idea was already going to be scrapped, not being able to download any of the plugins again. But then I went to my downloads and actually found Cymatics Keys there. And that is one more thing here too, that Cymatics Keys is a very weird generic name for somebody who has names like Aurora or Diablo, Vortex, Space. You know, all these are really outstanding names, and then you just have Cymatics Keys. It's very strange. Now, Keys was marketed as a synth for lo-fi hip-hop, mainly comprised of piano, keys, and synthesizer sounds. So anyway, I re-downloaded the Keys plugin and put it in my DAW and could not get it to work. I tried everything, reading the installation manual, which, by the way, things on there were also incorrect. You had to download like 4 different folders and then find where specifically those folders go, and then on top of that one, downloading a few of the different packs would just say unidentified and were completely broken. So once again, thinking this video was scrapped because I can no longer use this plugin, no noise would come out of it, there was one folder in there that would save everything, and that's going to be the source folder. If you don't know, it's very popular nowadays for VSTs to use pre-recorded sounds as opposed to actual synthesis. That's its own topic on if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I personally don't feel like it's the most reassuring feature of a plugin. So by finding this folder, we could actually use all the sounds from the VST as one-shots. So I decided to test that out. Alright, so here's the key sources right here. Now, basically all of these right here are going to be only one instrument. Now, if I hit this one, yes, there are a ton of them in here, and they all are different samples. But they're all the same sample, just recorded in different notes. So I don't need to put every single one of them in here, and if you know one-shots, all I'm really looking for here is the C5 note, which in this case is right here. I'm not using that sound, but that's a good example. I don't think I'll be keeping this one, but I do want to give this one a try. And from there, we can do a few different things. Right now, it thinks we're in C7, but we know that we're in C5. So clicking that one right there. And we'll go over the envelope here in a little bit. So for chords, let's go down to like C4. That already sounds really freaking good. I'm hearing a little something here. I think it's just the pop right here, so I can just go to sample start and just tweak that ever so slightly. And that like low-pitched pop is now gone. Okay, so as you can clearly tell, as it's still playing, we are clashing different chords together, which we don't want to have happen. So enabling the envelope over there, turning down the attack all the way, the hold to 100%, and then we can change some slight things from there, but I think that might be all that we really need. That sounds good. So again, we might switch out that sound for a different one, but I do really like the way that it sounds, so we could keep that one as well. This could work as like a good layer though. I think I actually like the second one better. They're clashing a little bit though. Make these go back on down maybe. This synth might work out for like a bass. And for the LFO, gonna turn down everything except for the hold. We'll try out that for the top line. muted it is, but it's not really standing out to the other instruments in our loop here. So we gotta find something different. I'm looking for something very soft. Especially just like a sine wave, it sounds like. Okay, now to find one more thing over here. I think one more instrument should be good to go. This one I'm almost positive I'll be changing, but for right now it'll have to do. There's one thing I could change here is that I really do not like the high pitch noise on this one, but I feel like that might be an easy EQ out. Yeah, now it's gone completely. Okay, cool. Then it's one thing that's kind of strange when I was going through this pack and everything. A lot of the things have like a name on there, which I think is kind of weird. You know, a lot of them are based around the synth that they're using, like the Moog is a synth. I don't think that Nick is a synth over here, so I think it's kind of strange that Cymatics would leave something like that in there. Again, they weren't planning on us going in here and diving into the actual sounds, but still, I feel like the Cymatics usually has that polish, so it's another thing that's kind of weird with this plugin. Just thought that I should mention that as well. Now that we have everything that we basically want over here, we can just start adding some effects to our melody. Try adding some cloud max over here. Ranged out a beat on camera and so freaking long. Let's do a little something here and build up a little bit of a drop. And since we're already making a video on Cymatics over here, my favorite plugin from them is actually going to be Cymatics Diablo. Get a lot of back and forth on this plugin, but I think it's a really great thing for your drums. If nothing else, for this one knob right here, just adding some clip and then for some more like sound design stuff, adding some of that for some lo-fi sounds really good. We slowed it down considerably and I think it actually sounds pretty good. Diablo also works really well on some basses as well. That's tight. I like all that. That sounds really good to me. I am going to save that as Cymatics Keys Demo 2, because I actually do have another demo here to showcase to you guys. This is me just testing out some of these sounds that we had inside of the plugin, I guess you would call it, and testing to make sure that my creativity was on point today, so I actually made this little track right here before we even started. So going over that very quickly, I have this like Metro Boomin chord progression over here with a small top line melody. That was using the Solace Piano one-shot. Now going on to the 80s Gold, we have this very simple melody following our chords, basically. It sounds like when you walk into a 7-Eleven, now that I'm really thinking about it. Still fire, though. Alright, and then using the Atmosphere keys, we got this ARP. It's very simple, and I wanted that very sampled retro video game sound. And finally using the Gloss keys to make a bass line. And then pair it with these drums. So as you can tell, we've got a very different feel for this track here, where the beat that we made on camera here today is more lo-fi hip-hop, and this is definitely more of a dark Travis Scott trap beat. If I'm being honest, I actually like the melody way more than I like the entire beat as a whole. So one thing I did to really help with that, I added Shaperbox 3 right here, enabling time and noise. So the melody will be reversing into itself for 46% of the mix, and then the noise is a very low floor, but it's going to be a crowd noise. And then one last Shaperbox 3 here on an empty track, only for the noise, which the riser that came out of it was actually really sick. And finally, after all that, here's how everything sounds. Alright guys, there's actually an earthquake going on. I gotta stop. While diving into the source material, I did find that the sounds were pretty decent, and there's obviously a few different things here that could have been thought out more for the plugin, but does that really mean they really had to altogether remove the plugins from their website? And to that, I'll say that Cymatics definitely does have an image to keep up, so these two clunky synths might have been seen as jeopardizing that image. But then also there's one more reason I can think about. Steven, the co-founder of Cymatics, has mentioned that they've got big plans for the future of Cymatics plugins. Now, I don't know what plugins they've got in the works right now, or anything that they've got in the works right now, but maybe they just want to start their instrument lineup from scratch, wanting us to completely forget about the first two iterations. So that's pretty much all the thoughts that I've got about Cymatics right now and the current state that they're in. I think they are kind of in like a weird transitional period to getting some really big things going, and they just released their newest production suite, which I did not pick up, but it seems like they're focusing way more on samples right now while maybe doing some more plugin stuff in the background. So what do you guys think about all this information and where Cymatics is at right now? Let me know down below.